So this is a series that I find really helpful for people that do a lot of running and walking, people that have tight legs or need more circulation in their legs. So those of you that wish you were walking or running and are really just sitting at your desk, it's a good one for you too. It'll help open up your feet, your ankles, your knees, your hips, everything in the lower body. So I hope you enjoy it. We start in just a simple lunge. One foot forward, the other foot back, knee down, making sure that that front knee does not come past your front ankle. Engaging your inner thighs, pulling them gently towards each other so that your hips work a little towards square. This is especially good if you're really tight in there. Lengthening through your spine. And if you have trouble with that back knee, remember you can pad under it with blankets or whatever you'd like. Or if you press your back shin into the floor, that helps relieve some pressure on that back knee. If it's just too much, you can skip this first part. We're all going to next tuck the back toes under and lift the back knee. So now we're moving a little deeper into the front of that hip, beginning to say hello to the calf and the back of the knee. And hold here for a few breaths, still lengthening that low back. That's important because you want your low back to be relaxed, not all tight and crunched up and saying, oh my God, I just can't breathe. Now, the next part is a little bit more challenging, especially for your ankles. We're going to turn all 10 toes and take all fingers over to the side. You may need to adjust where your foot is in space, that extended leg foot. Now, some people find it more comfortable to be up on their heel. Some people find it more comfortable to be sitting all the way back. I obviously find it much more comfortable to lift my heel. I'm a little tight in the calves. Now that extended leg, you can turn your toes forward. This will get nicely into your outer calf and outer ankle. You can also turn your toes up. This gets a little more into the hamstring, so it's important that you really engage around your knees so you don't end up hyperextending things. If you're feeling like you really need the front of your ankle open, reach the ball of your foot down while still engaging that extended knee. You may or may not be able to get the ball of your foot all the way down, but the front of your ankle will open. From here, we're going to walk our hands to the middle, lift our hips up, all 10 toes facing the same direction, taking a nice little break here, feeling the backs of the legs, giving the hips a little wiggle. And then moving to the other side, bending the other knee, settling down comfortably. Again, your low back is long and relaxed. You should be able to feel your breath there. Adjusting your extended leg any way that feels right for you. Engaging around that extended knee. From here, we're going to keep going back towards our knee down lunge. This time we're going to turn towards the new bent knee. So if you started with your left leg in front, now your right leg is in front. Here we are in our knee up lunge. Again, lengthening the spine. It can be helpful if you think about lifting that back inner thigh up towards the sky. This gives your hips a little more space to settle down into. And then when you're ready, you can bring that back knee down and the top of your foot to the floor, changing the sensations. This can be a fun little lunge series to play with, going back and forth. You'll notice that working into things in a different order will change what you feel. Now from here, I'm going to tuck my back toes under and turn myself sideways again. This time, I'm going to bring my feet closer together, as close together as I can comfortably, and I'm going to sit down into a squat. Now this is very different for everybody. Some people feel this in the hips, some people in the quads, knees, ankles, toes. There's a place for all of us. Let your knees open up, hands in between. And taking your right hand to your right knee, as you exhale, turn to the right, giving that knee a little gentle pressure back as you look over your right shoulder. As you inhale, come back to center, switch hands, and as you exhale, turn in the other direction. You'll notice as I move here, I'm letting my toes turn too. I don't want to crank on my ankles too much. But this does give them a nice little opening as I shift my weight here. So now that I feel my feet beginning to open, not just my hips, my ankles are starting to get a little more circulation in there. I'm going to stretch my toes a little bit. So turning on my mat, I'm going to come down to all fours and tuck my toes under, spreading them out as wide as I can. Sinking my hips back towards my heels, I can take as much weight in the feet as I want. If I want it to be gentler, I'll keep my hands on the floor. If I want to be a little more intense, I'll sit all the way up on my heels. Now it's important that you feel some relaxation in the soles of your feet. If you don't feel any relaxation there, you want to back up less weight on your toes. Nice full breaths here, even though your body might be saying, oh my God, what are you doing? And when your toes are all stretched out, bring yourself back to all fours. Give yourself a little applause. Always feels so good on the soles of the feet. And then take your hips back towards your heels again. We're coming towards hero's pose. So if your ankles are really tight, you can roll a blanket underneath your ankles. If your knees are tight, you can take a blanket under the knees. You can also take a rolled mat on the backs of your ankles so that you put a little less pressure there. It's a little easier to stay upright. If you're feeling like this is comfortable, then sit all the way up. And your toes point straight behind you. This is where we start to get some foot cramps. That usually has to do with the ankles not being open enough for good circulation. Now, those of you that are really used to sitting like this, and it's really easy for you, you can take your hands around behind you, spread your toes out so that your feet are engaged, and lift your knees, leaning back. This will stretch the front of your ankles a little bit more. Obviously, if you're dealing with problems in your ankles, you will not want to go here. When you're ready to release, do it gently. And bring yourself all the way down to your back for our final posture today, helping to open up the lower body. We're going to find our way into dead bug pose. So the knees come in towards the chest, hands reach between your legs for the outer edges of your feet. If the outer edges of your feet are not accessible, use your ankles, use your pants, whatever works for you. Now your bottom is going to stay as close to the floor as you can let it. Your sacrum, that big triangle at the spine, is right on the floor. Turn the soles of your feet up towards the sky. Drop your knees towards the floor on either side of your torso. Let your shoulders relax. And turn the insides of your feet towards parallel. Nice big breaths all the way down into your pelvis. This can be a very soothing and relaxing pose. Still working the insides of your feet towards parallel. This helps keep the engagement so that you don't overdo anything. From this pose, let your practice take you anywhere that feels good. Taking wiggles and stretches that you enjoy, embarking on new flows, or finding your way into Shavasana. Shavasana here will help open the front of the hips a little bit more, which obviously dead bug doesn't do very much of. Hope you enjoyed your practice today. I look forward to practicing again with you soon. Namaste.